Alright, fellas, welcome back. My name's Connor Will MMA, and I'm going to be talking about the MVP MMA card, Rhonda Rousey versus Gina Cerano, that just happened. I'm going to be talking about the fights, how they played out, and what I thought of them. And I'm going to start off, I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom, because I did not catch the first few fights. Avila versus Jenkins, I didn't watch. Jenkins won, split decision. Alright, I think I picked Avila. Aileen Pereira versus Jade Masong Wang. Aileen Pereira won. Split decision, it seems. I have nothing to say. David McGoyan versus Albert Morales. David McGoyan won by unanimous decision. I didn't watch any of these fights. I watched this fight. Jason Jackson versus Jefferson Creighton. Jason Jackson gets a KO in the first 30 seconds of the fight. Brutal. Slimes him out. And it was great. It was a great KO. Not much to say about it, really. It's 22 seconds in. Slimes out Jefferson Creighton. Jefferson Creighton, who is this guy? He doesn't belong in here with Jason Jackson. Adriano Moraes versus Fumi Nkuta. Adriano Moraes got a very controversial submission. It was right at the end of the fight where Fumi Nkuta was winning the whole fight, and then Adriano Moraes Fumi Nkuta would have won the decision. And Adriano Moraes had locked up a choke, rear naked choke, right at the end of the fight. And the bell goes. The end of the fight bell goes. And he doesn't let go of the choke. And he holds it for an extra 2 seconds, I think. And then lets it go. And Nkuta is unconscious. So we don't know if he was unconscious before that or not. It looked like he held it for way too long, which was really dirty. And it gave him the win by submission. It was definitely after the bell, and I think Nkuta was still awake as the bell rang, and then he let it go, and he was unconscious. But it's unfortunate, controversial end. People are pretty mad at Adriano Moraes, which is fair, because it was pretty dirty. Next up, Namo Fazil versus Jake Babian. I didn't really catch this one. Fazil got the submission. I know that Namo Fazil got in a bit of an altercation with Arman Sarukian. Arman Sarukian is doing anything but fighting in the UFC. This dude is always in the headlines. I think Arman tried to jump the barricade between the fans and the fighters in the arena as Namo Fazil was walking backstage. And then I think Arman and his team all came backstage like fucking goons looking for this Fazil fella. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why they're having a go, but all I know is they got into a bit of an altercation. They've got a bit of a beef. I'm not too sure why. I don't know if Arman trains with Babian or whatever, but it doesn't really matter to me. Arman's always doing something. Fazil gets a dub by submission. Now, I want to talk about the main card. I definitely tuned into all of these ones. We had Gina dos Santos versus Rebelis de Spain. And this was a mismatch of all mismatches. It was really, really hard to watch a legend like JDS go in there. And Rebelis de Spain stand there with his hands down, just throwing uppercuts. And Rebelis de Spain slimed him out in the first round. I think it was a straight left. Just sat him down, and Dos Santos was sitting there, stars around his head. He had no clue what was going on, bleeding out of his face. Just slimed out, and it was unfortunate to watch, but Despain gets a dub. Parnas versus Kenneth Cross. Parnas gets the TKO against Kenneth Cross. This is another mismatch. I don't know what was happening here. Who is Kenneth Cross? And why is he in there with Saladin Parnas? But Saladin Parnas gets the TKO. There was a few mismatches on this card, on this main card, definitely. And this is another one. Ngannou versus Felipe Lins. Ngannou wins the first round KO. And people who had him on their parlay for a first round KO were sweating because it got to about 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the round and Ngannou and Felipe Lins were clinched on the fence. But he broke. He eventually found the target. He touched Felipe Lins on the head and he went unconscious, which was always going to happen. Everyone knew it was going to happen. It's one of those fights where it's like, why is he even in there with Felipe Lins, you know? But Ngannou got the first round KO. We have Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. Mike Perry wins by TKO technically. This was a slugfest. This was disgusting. This was awful. Nate Diaz looked like a fucking... I don't even know. He was just fucked up, man. This guy had so much blood on him. He looked like he'd just been attacked by a lion. Just, his whole face was bright red, even all down the back of him. All down his chest, all down his stomach. Just pissing blood. Pints of blood. And I knew it was going to be a doctor stoppage after that second round. Because it was disgusting. It was awful to watch. I mean, he was standing there. You couldn't see his face. It was just red. And yeah, Mike Perry just pieced up Nate Diaz for 2 rounds straight. He nearly got him in the first round because Nate Diaz seemed to gas out pretty early after the heavy body shots from Mike Perry. And Nate Diaz's scar tissue just gave out. He got sliced open, just pissed blood everywhere. Every time Mike Perry punched him, just a pint of blood would come spurting out of his head. All over Mike Perry as well. Mike Perry was covered in blood, but none of it was his. And it was awful. It was awful to see Nate Diaz in that way. Because it's every fight. Every single fight. The scar tissue on Nate Diaz's face opens up and he just pisses blood. And he shouldn't fight again because that's going to happen again. And he called for a rematch with Mike Perry. He said he's going to fight Mike Perry. He's going to beat Mike Perry. He's going to beat Jake Paul. And then he's going to beat Ariel Helwani, which I'd be happy to see. If he's going to get back in the ring, it better be against Ariel Helwani. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to see Nate Diaz get smashed up again. He's already a legend. He needs to retire now. Mike Perry gets a TKO dub. Rhonda Rousey versus Gina Carano. Rhonda Rousey gets the armbar in 17 seconds. That's how long it took. Immediately. The fight starts. They come in. Rhonda Rousey immediately takes her down. Gina Carano decides to jump the ghillie. Rhonda Rousey gets out, grabs the armbars her. And Gina Carano taps immediately because what else is she going to do? This was always just going to be a payday for Gina Carano. And I bet it was a big one. Fortunately, this was also a payday for me because I bet on Rhonda Rousey to get the submission within 30 seconds and she did. Unfortunately, Rhonda Rousey won, but fortunately, I won money. So, bittersweet. But yeah, Rhonda Rousey just levels above Gina Carano, younger, closer to her prime, more fit. Probably has been training her entire life. Gina Carano probably hasn't trained for the past 12 years. And yeah, Rhonda Rousey just showed it. Armbarred her immediately. And that was the MVP card. And it was pretty fun, the main card at least. I didn't watch the prelims because I was watching the UFC ones, which were better. But the main card was really good. The only real problem I had with this MVP event was how long in between the fights, Like with UFC, they get them in there, someone wins, they do their little interview, they get them out, and they get the next fight in there. I mean, with this, someone would win the fight, and then they'd be interviewing them for like 8 minutes, dude. Like Francis was in there for so long. And then it would be like a 15-minute wait till Diaz versus Perry. But other than that, it was good. Good fights, star power. Mismatches, definitely. They definitely should work on that for the next one. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. I won money, thankfully. And yeah, that's my recap on the card. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.